Imagine if every thought, every deed, every future possibility of your soul was written in an invisible book. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, didn't just believe this. He accessed it night after night for over 40 years. In this episode, we'll uncover the exact body posture he used to shift his brain into another dimension, how he interpreted the 3 symbolic languages of the records, later confirmed by declassified CIA research, and why your dreams after 3:33 a.m. may be pure downloads from the Akashic field. Stay with me to the end, because this episode could change the way you look at your sleep, your dreams, and your entire spiritual destiny. And if you're new here, subscribe, because in this series we are diving step by step into the deepest mysteries Edgar Cayce left behind. When Cayce prepared for a reading, he didn't just go to sleep. He followed a ritual, almost a yogic initiation. The couch setup. Cayce would lie on a long sofa in his office, a pillow under his head, his shoes removed, his legs slightly bent. His hands were placed lightly on his chest or stomach, right hand over left, forming a subtle cross across the solar plexus. Head tilt. In reading 294-19, Cayce himself explained that the precise angle of the head was critical. His chin was tilted slightly downward, throat relaxed, opening what yogic texts would call the Vishuddha chakra or throat center. Eyes closed, yet activated. Witnesses noted that his eyelids fluttered rapidly, similar to modern REM sleep, but Cayce wasn't dreaming. He was entering what neurologists now call the hypnagogic threshold, the brainwave borderland between alpha, theta, and delta. Why did this posture matter? Because according to Cayce, the human body is a living temple, and posture is the architecture of consciousness. Crossing the hands over the solar plexus stabilized the vagal nerve, allowing him to slow down his breath and heart rate. The downward tilt of the head acted like a switch, gently disengaging the conscious mind while aligning the spine with what he called the superconscious current. This posture essentially tricked the body into falling asleep while the mind remained awake, a key to accessing the Akashic dimension. Cayce himself said, "The body is the temple of the living God. If you would enter his courts, keep it holy, keep it still." This posture, replicated, allows the brain to shift into what modern EEG researchers describe as gamma-theta coupling, rare brainwave patterns linked to mystical states, remote viewing, and transdimensional cognition. So Cayce wasn't just lying down. He was performing an initiation into the geometry of higher perception. Once in trance, Cayce never described the records as a literal library. Instead, he spoke of them in symbols. Why? Because the Akashic field communicates in layered codes. Let's expand each. 1. The language of light and vibration. Cayce often described streams of colors, sounds, and vibrations, not words. For example, in one reading, he said, "The body's record first appears as lines of force, lighted and moving, shifting as the soul has shifted." This is almost identical to reports from CIA remote viewers decades later, who were trained to recognize non-verbal energetic impressions first, before converting them into language. Key insight. The Akashic field vibrates like a cosmic symphony, and the seer's task is to tune in to the right instrument. 2. The language of symbolic imagery. Cayce reported symbolic visions, cities, temples, oceans, each representing a psychic truth. For instance, seeing an unfinished building in the records symbolized a life lesson incomplete. This parallels dreamwork and Jungian archetypes. The psyche speaks in images, not paragraphs. CIA research on coordinate remote viewing confirmed that the subconscious translates data into metaphor first because raw data is too overwhelming. 3. The language of numbers and patterns. Cayce sometimes saw sequences: 7 doors, 12 steps, 3 rivers. These were not random. They pointed to universal laws. Example: in reading 254-67, Cayce described 7 centers, vibrating, recording, clearly referring to the chakras as access nodes into the records. The CIA's Project Stargate later echoed this. When operatives saw repeating numbers during psychic work, Those were anchors of meaning. So, the records speak in a trinity of codes: vibration, imagery, and number. Cayce's gift was translating these into human language without distortion. Why did Cayce emphasize the early morning hours for dream downloads? Cayce noted that the veil between dimensions thins after 3 a.m. and particularly around 3:33. Modern sleep science supports this. Around 3 a.m., melatonin peaks, cortisol is lowest, and brain activity naturally dips into deep delta. This creates the perfect physiological gateway for accessing subconscious and superconscious layers. In his readings, Cayce said, "Those that seek shall find in the stillness as the night turns." But why 3:33 specifically? Mystically, 3 is the number of creation, body, mind, spirit. Triple it, and you have a signal of alignment. Many who practice lucid dreaming and astral projection also report spontaneous awakenings at exactly this time. Some neuroscientists now suggest the pineal gland may produce microbursts of DMT during these hours, opening perception to non-ordinary reality. Cayce taught that if you awaken at 3:33 a.m. and record your dream or meditate, you are more likely to capture raw Akashic data before the conscious mind filters it away. So if you've ever found yourself staring at the clock at 3:33, it may not be coincidence, it may be a call from the records. This isn't just history, it's a manual for your soul. What follows now is the exact trance posture Edgar Cayce kept during his trance channelings. Room and setup. Quiet, dim room, couch or chaise. Cayce gave readings lying down on a couch in a relaxed, sleep-like state. Shoes off, clothing loosened. Before each reading, he routinely unfastened his collar, loosened cuffs, unlaced shoes, comfort first. 1 or 2 trusted assistants present. Most often, his wife Gertrude acted as conductor, opening with a short prayer and the suggestion for the reading. You'll see her cue line in a minute. Why? Reducing sensory input, noise, light, tight clothing lowers muscular and autonomic arousal, making it easier to drift into the hypnoidal borderland state Cayce used. Body position on the couch. Supine on the back. He lay flat and still for the duration. Hands folded lightly over the solar plexus chest. Eyewitness accounts describe him folding his hands over his chest. In the readings, he also instructs that when lying down for this work, one should cover the solar plexus with the hands, reading 448. Either way, his hands rested together over the mid-torso, not at the sides. Arms relaxed, shoulders heavy. No tension or bracing. Legs straight, uncrossed, feet relaxed. Nothing elaborate, just easy alignment. Eyes closed, jaw relaxed, tongue resting naturally. Breathing, slow and even, sleep-like. Contemporary observers note he settled into deep, even breathing as he drifted off. Why? Hands over the solar plexus, per Cayce's own instruction, reading 448, was considered a protective, centering gesture. It also encourages diaphragmatic breathing and discourages unconscious fidgeting. Supine, uncrossed limbs minimize muscular effort and proprioceptive noise, helping attention turn inward. Slow breathing increases parasympathetic tone, conducive to trance. The conductor's cue and the entry into trance. Prayer attunement, brief. Standard suggestion from the conductor, often Gertrude. You will have before you the body of. You will give the physical and or mental or spiritual conditions, and you will answer the questions that I will ask. Cayce's recognition line as he came through, "Yes, we have the body." This exact phrasing appears again and again in the transcripts. Why? A fixed opening formula narrowed the target and created a reproducible mental set, useful for both trance induction and later comparison across thousands of readings. Quick self-practice checklist. Quiet, dim space, comfortable couch, sofa. Shoes off, loosen belt collar. Lie on your back, hands resting together over your solar plexus or chest, legs uncrossed. Close eyes, breathe slowly and evenly for 2-3 minutes. Optional conductor or record yourself to give a single clear intention. You will recall what is most helpful for. Keep a notebook nearby. Do not strain. If you get lightheaded, stop. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe now, because what's coming next will shock you. We will list the big 3 symbolic core languages Cayce consistently leaned on, 9 auxiliary dialects that appear again and again across his dream work and trance descriptions, and finally, a step-by-step decoding protocol with examples. We are now going into details of the big 3 core symbolic languages. Number 1. Image, scenic language, the movie stream. What shows up? Rooms, doors, roads, bridges, houses, beaches, mountains, libraries, temples, gardens, corridors, ladders, tunnels, windows, thresholds. How Cayce read it, like a storyboard of the soul. Direction and topology matter. Direction. Forward represents future potential, while backward stands for past origin. Left for inner, receptive, subconscious, right for outer, expressive, conscious. Locations as psyche map. House is self-embodied life. Rooms are faculties. Attic is ideals, head. Kitchen for assimilation of ideas. Basement cellar is the subconscious. Bathroom for elimination, cleansing. Bedroom represents rest, intimacy, integration. Bridge is transition, initiation. Corridor, tunnel, the passage between states. Door, gate is threshold, choice. Locked door stands for lesson not yet earned. Key is the earned access through right use of will. Mountain is for attainment, aspiration. Valley for testing, humility. Sea is the collective unconscious. Why it matters. The scenic language is the easiest way the records stage your current lesson. It externalizes inner processes as places you can literally walk through. Number 2. Tonal, verbal language, the sound word stream. What shows up? A single name, a phrase, a hymn, a bell, a humdrone, a choir, a verse that repeats, a word written in light. How Cayce read it. Vibration precedes form, tone reveals quality. Names carry a vibrational signature, often pointing to a soul quality or past association. Repeated phrases, directive, whisper, subtle guidance. Chorus, collective call, discord, conflict of will, clear bell, truth signal. Scripture, line of verse surfacing spontaneously, a seed thought to meditate on until it yields practical guidance. Why it matters. When image is ambiguous, tone clarifies intent. Sound tells you what is the quality of this influence. Number 3. Geometric language, the pattern stream. What shows up? Circles, triangles, squares, cross, spiral, star, lattice, honeycomb, grids on floors or ceilings, steps in exact counts. How Cayce read it. Numbers and shapes encode the lesson structure. Common shapes keys. Circle, wholeness. Triangle, balance of 3 aspects. Square, stability, manifestation. Cross, intersection of vertical, spirit, and horizontal, world will. Spiral, growth via recurrence. Star, guidance, ideal. Why it matters. The pattern stream tells you how to proceed, sequence, structure, even when you don't yet know what to do. On top of those languages there were the 9 auxiliary dialects recurring in Cayce's work. These are the secondary symbolic languages that Cayce often layered into dreams and visions. They were like supporting dialects around the primary soul language. Each revealed an aspect of human consciousness, the collective psyche, and the universal order. 1. Numerical dialect. Symbols, numbers, 1, 2, 3, 7, 12, 144, etc. Meaning, numbers were not quantities, but qualities of vibration. 1. Unity source. 2. Polarity choice. 3. Triad spirit mind body. 4. Order foundation. 5. Change initiative. 6. Harmony service. 7. Completion cycle. 8. Power initiation. 9. Fruition harvest. 12. Governance cycle of wholeness. 24. Service in time. 40. Testing probation. 144. Perfected cycle. Reason. Numbers were shorthand for universal laws, encoding harmony and cosmic rhythm. 2. Color spectrum dialect. What shows up? Colored light, auras, robes, liquids, skies. How Cayce read it. Red, vitality, grounding, drive. Distorted stands for anger, compulsion. Orange, creativity, assimilation. Distorted represents indulgence. Yellow, intellect, discernment. Distorted for worry over analysis. Green, growth, healing, balance. Distorted for envy, stagnation. Blue, truth, expression, peace. Distorted represents suppression, sad resignation. Indigo, insight, intuition. Distorted for fantasy, escapism. Violet, devotion, union. Distorted for spiritual pride. White gold, higher ideal, Christ light, integrity. Black, gestation, unknown, void, not bad, it's the soil before sprout. Tips, saturation for intensity, muddy for mixed motive, metallic sheen for higher octave of that ray. 3. Elemental nature dialect. What shows up? Water, fire, wind, earth, storms, animals, trees, gardens, deserts. Keys. Water represents feeling life, collective field. Calm stands for receptivity. Flood for overwhelm. Clear spring is the living truth. Deep ocean is the great unconscious. Fire for purification, will, energy. Hearth fire for home, heart, warmth. Wildfire is the unchecked passion, anger. Wind, air for spirit, intellect, inspiration. Gentle breeze for guidance. Gale for upheaval of ideas. Earth symbolizes embodiment, practicality. Fertile soil, the readiness. Rock is the foundational truth. Landslide for failing support. Creatures. Snake, kundalini, change. Bird, message, spirit. Horse, life force, drive. Dog, loyalty, instinct. Lion, courage, authority. Fish, insight from depths. Bees, collective purpose. Why it matters, nature scenes speak to how your energies are moving, not just what you think about them. 4. Place and architecture dialect. What shows up? Temples, schools, libraries, courts, workshops, ships, cities. Keys. Temple is the soul's worship ideal. School, the active learning. Library, records, memory. Courtroom, conscience, karma balancing. Workshop, skills, discipline. Ship is the life journey, faith. City represents the society, the collective mind. Why it matters. These are function rooms telling you the mode of growth, devotion, learning, service, justice, craft, trust, community. 5. Physiological, chakra, endocrine dialect. What shows up? Lights, wheels, lotuses, oils, anointments, serpents rising, specific body areas glowing, references to glands. Gonads, root, vitality, security, incarnation. Adrenals, sacral, courage, regulation of drives. Pancreas, solar plexus, assimilation, balance of desire, ideal. Thymus, heart, compassion, circulation of life force. Thyroid, throat, expression, truth in action. Pineal, brow, vision, inner sight. Pituitary, crown, coordination, integration, the lens of higher guidance. Why it matters. Visions often light up a center to show where to purify or strengthen for the next step. 6. Moral karmic cause-effect dialect. What shows up? Books, ledgers, scales, debts, credits, contracts, stains, cleansings, seeds, harvests, prisons, keys, judges. Keys. Ledger, book, your sowing and reaping. Scales, justice, balance. Stain, guilt, remorse. Washing, forgiveness, choice. Chains, self-binding habit. Key, earned release. Seed, new choice. Harvest, consequence. Why it matters. This dialect makes ethics visible, turning karma into concrete next actions. Amend, forgive, serve. 7. Soul group and relationship dialect. What shows up? The same faces in different eras. Chords, knots, circles, weddings, covenants, councils. Keys. Chords, energetic ties. Knots, unresolved lessons. Circle, shared purpose. Council, guidance from the group mind. Wedding, deep union, commitment. Divorce papers, release of old pact. Why it matters, highlights who you're learning with and what the shared curriculum is. 8. Astrological planetary imprint language. What shows up? Planets, stars, metals, animals, days that covertly reference planetary forces, e.g. iron Mars, copper Venus. Keys. Sun, gold, identity, creative life. Moon, silver, tides, feeling. Mercury, quicksilver, mind, speech. Venus, copper, love, aesthetics. Mars, iron, energy, assertion. Jupiter, tin, expansion, faith. Saturn, lead, structure, karma, time. Uranus, sudden change. Neptune, mysticism, merge. Pluto, deep transformation. Why it matters. When symbols point planetary, you're being shown archetypal weather shaping the lesson's mood. 9. Script, text language, ledgers, scrolls, recording angel. What shows up? Books with your name, pages flipping, blank pages, edits, seals, a luminous scribe. Keys. Open book stands for an active review. Sealed, not yet time. Blank page, free will phase. Revisions, mercy records, move as intent changes. Witness, scribe, impartial conscience, recording angel. Why it matters. This is the clearest interface to the Akashic theme. You are writing it as you live it. We will now explain how to decode a vision. Write down every object, color, number, direction, tone, word, exactly as seen, heard. Tag each symbol by language. Image, tone, pattern, color, element, place, physiology, moral, soul group, planetary, script. Read at 3 levels. Physical, health, work, relationships, logistics. Mental, beliefs, stories, thinking errors, study needed. Spiritual, ideals, motives, forgiveness, service. Triangulate. Look for agreement across at least 2 languages, e.g., blue plus throat plus bell stands for speak truth. Name the lesson in 1 sentence. This is about, e.g., align speech with compassion under pressure. Ask the ethical question. What is the kind, truthful, practical action this week? Prescribe a small act plus a practice. 1 outward step, call, apology, boundary, study, plus 1 inward step, meditation on the seed thought. Validate in waking life. Watch 7-14 days for confirmations, synchronicities, openings, pushback. Together, these 9 dialects form a multi-dimensional code in Cayce's visions, blending archetypes, cosmic law, nature, and the body itself. To him, the soul spoke through symbols far more efficiently than through literal words. You will be happy to know that I've prepared for you 3 mini Cayce demos. 1. The Flooded Library. Symbols, library, place, rising water, element, blue-green light, color, 7 steps to exit, number, pattern, bell toll, tone. Read Mental Oversaturation, Library, by Collective Feeling, water. Speak truth kindly, blue-green, in a 7-step sequence, daily small clears. Bell represents time to act. Action, limit info intake. Journal feelings, initiate 1 honest conversation per day for a week. 2. The Locked Garden Gate. Symbols, lush garden beyond image, locked iron gate, moral, key on chest, physio heart, 3 birds overhead, pattern, be gentle, whisper, tone. Read, abundance ready, but heart level forgiveness. Key at chest unlocks it. 3 for triad, forgive self, other, life. Action. Write and speak a 3-fold forgiveness prayer daily, then take a concrete step toward the deferred goal. 3. The spiral stair in a tower. Symbols, stone tower, place, structure, spiral stair, pattern, 12 landings, number, violet glow at top, color, spirit, thin air, physio, neck, throat pressure. Read, stage descent, 12-week discipline. Expression must refine, throat fatigue, as devotion deepens, violet. Action, 12-week plan, weekly silence practice, plus 1 act of service, track voice, honesty. If this episode opened your mind, subscribe now. Because in the next one, we'll analyze how Edgar Cayce was able to read the past lives revealed in the records. And tell me in the comments, have you ever woken up at 3:33 a.m. and felt something mysterious? Share your story, because you might discover you've already touched the Akashic records yourself. And because together we are reopening the Book of Life. Until next time, peace, light, and the records.